Hello, I am Mary Shanahan-Spanik, the Executive Director of the West Allis Community Media Center. The program you are about to watch was created in honor of the 20th anniversary of public access television in West Allis. It is a group contemplation by some of the dedicated residents who have contributed to the development of this valuable resource. I am proud to be associated with the volunteers who have done the hard work of developing the vehicle which enables all residents to express the voice of the community. Let's listen to their stories.
Well, when I started about 20 years ago, Access was really run by the cable company. And sometimes it was run quite well and sometimes it wasn't, especially with the changes in the cable company that occurred over the years. We've had a number of different companies come in and run the cable system in West Allis, and there was no continuity. Equipment occasionally didn't work. People got frustrated. And now with the media center and the CCC taking control of Access and making sure that Access is preserved and the equipment is available and the people have access to the equipment that they expect, that's been a huge change.
From the startup of public access in West Allis, it was not like it is today. It was run by the cable company originally, and the cable company at that time was pretty cooperative and pretty gung-ho on getting public access out. At the time, the cable companies were kind of vying for the big marketplace and were trying to showcase a lot of stuff and making public access one of the little bonuses that a community could have if they would take this particular cable company. But as the competition of that type dwindled or expired because the cable franchises were let out, then it seemed to dry up a little bit. But in the West Allis community, the producers really took a hold of it and wouldn't let it die. There's a lot of the producers are working right now that date back in those days and struggled and struggled and struggled, and there were a lot of them. We had a lot of problems, but it all worked out and it progressed and into this fantastic setup that we've got right now, and fantastic staff and leadership. And we traded off some things. The funding isn't as much as it used to be, but then there's other ways of getting the funding. So, wow, it's really going.
What is community access television? It's vision. It's voices. It's variety. Vision, voices, variety. Explore community access television. For people, by people, just like you.
Well, to answer the question regarding the importance of public television to West Allis has been very important because, first of all, the citizens of our community need a forum like this to express their own abilities and their own desires for the city, as well as to show the manner in which our city is growing and to document these events.
Access in the city of West Allis works because of the dedication of the people that are involved in it. There's so much enthusiasm, there's so much time spent, it just is conveyed in their activities, how much excitement they have about what they're doing. I think the other reason it's successful is because the information and the programs being done are of interest to the people, and even though some of the program is to narrow or select points of view, there is a clientele out there that's really interested in that type of programming, so there are watchers and viewers, and that also makes it successful.
Well, I think every community has to keep up with new technologies, a new way of getting citizens involved in their government and their community. And community access TV is one way of keeping citizens informed and getting them involved in city government.
Well, first of all, we run the organization ourselves. We took charge of it, and I think that's helped a considerable amount. I think there's more involvement today. We have more producers. We have better equipment. The channel looks better. So there's been advances in technology. And I think the people have helped further this organization. For example, when I came on the board in 1993, I was new to the volunteer scene in West Allis. I had grown up here, but I had never volunteered for anything before. And I brought with me practical experience from the workplace. At the time, I was employed in the field of public relations with another nonprofit, and I was learning how to write a newsletter, how to produce an annual meeting, how to produce a special event, how to write an annual report. And that practical experience that I brought with me to the board, combined with the other board members' backgrounds. Many of them were veteran volunteers like Bob Tomto and Carol Garrison and Bob Kitchen and Lee Facinello and Doug Johnson. And they knew the mechanics of the community, so the mechanics of the community and the practical experience combined and helped further the organization.
Well, one of the important things, I think, is all of the varied programs that can be seen, and can be seen really nowhere else. This is local television, kind of as local as it gets, with local activities, local parades, sports, current affairs, government. That's the real important thing about Access. Is it's all about the community. It's all about the community in which you live. And it has the added benefit of being done and being produced by the people who live in that community. So the people in the community really determine the type of programming that'll be seen, and the type of programming that they're interested in, and that they really want to see.
We have a direct line of communication to every home in West Allis, and that's democracy in action.
Each of us volunteer our services. We get nothing for this except the satisfaction of helping our community improve.
That's an important part of any community, is the community's ability to watch one another, to talk to one another, and to have their views expressed.
I think it's a good way to promote Mark and their city.
Public access. I would hope and foresee that this continue in the future, because I believe that together we can make this a stronger communication within our community and for the betterment of the community.
I just think it's great that we have this freedom to use a channel to get our voices heard, and I just hope that it continues on.
Many years ago, public access was sort of an odd word. It was like somebody carrying a camera around in their back and doing schlock productions. They have a crew. They're doing a tremendous job.
It comes down to about 4 cents per day per subscriber. And I think that's very small pay for something that we all really, in some things, take for granted. The right of free speech, our First Amendment rights, the right to control, the right to communicate.
Public access.
Having been involved with the Community Media Center for a number of years and serving on their board of directors, I'm a proponent of the Community Media Center, because through the Community Media Center, they've done two things, major things in particular. One is they've helped our school district set up our various video clubs and learned how to videotape and
put together films with respect to various activities that go on in our school district. So they've been a vital factor in helping to train our people.
Fran, tell us what's going on here.
We have a student success program at Frank Lloyd Wright that was involved in video production last year, and Mary kindly assisted us, helped me train my students.
And I found out how it works, and I got involved with the League of Women Voters. They were putting on shows here, and they did a good job, and I eventually joined them through cable television.
I think organizations benefit from being part of community television because it's a good opportunity for them to tell people what they're all about, what their strengths are. They can talk about the histories of their organizations, their visions for the future. They can give it remarkable insight, and it isn't that they're telling a reporter and then the reporter is telling the community. They're telling the community themselves, so you're getting it right from the horse's mouth.
I've been involved in community television since its inception in our city back in the early 80s when West House Cablevision first came. They went around to various groups and were trying to get people who would do shows, and they were training groups of people, and my group that I came there with was the League of Women Voters, and we did get trained on equipment and started doing shows, and it was very exciting. As other people came in, we realized we needed a group of programmers because we wanted to really decide, well, this is a pretty valuable tool for the community. We can share information, we can maybe give political information, we can entertain, we can do historical bits, we can introduce people. We have quite a tool here, and maybe we should get together and decide on how we want to use this tool. And it's always, you know, we had one of our programmers meetings in somebody's basement and talked about what wonderful possibilities we had with community television. And through the years, I produced some shows. I had a show called Eye on Your City that I enjoyed doing. I produced it. I didn't usually host it, but I did put it together. I was guest on some. And then eventually I got elected to the board and was involved in it in another way. And now here we are, 20 years later? Yeah. And we're still doing it, and we're still trying to entertain the community. And what a wonderful opportunity for just citizen Joe Smo, you know, to be able to get on television camera and impart information or have debates or forums or food shows, music shows, you name it. Visits with Santa. It's a marvelous medium and a wonderful opportunity for the people. Very important. I hope we can keep it.
A little bit of history would be kind of important to talk about because West Allis was offered this opportunity when the cable first came on the scenes back in, I believe it was the early 60s. And at that time, many promises were made in terms of the facilities that public access would receive. To some extent, that was fulfilled. On the other hand, the facility that was finally opened up was largely run by the cable company itself, and the public access took a secondary role. Through the years, a number of board members and city officials have really worked on this to really bring forth the kind of programming that we are now seeing. Some of the steps that were taken were to begin developing a separate facility. Sometime around 10 years ago, I believe it was, that the cable office was, where the studio was located, was no longer available to us, and that made it possible then that a new contract had to be developed between the cable company and public access. At that time, we were very fortunate that the school board and Doug Johnson, who was the head of the recreation department, came up with the idea of using this facility here at the recreation department. And I think it was an outstanding thing because it became, at that time, the cooperation of the city as well as the school board that worked together to really provide this opportunity. And we must give credit to the people in the city who worked hard to help develop this contract.
Throughout the 90s, I think the board of directors really reflected the essence of this organization, which is to showcase different voices. And we had people who were veteran volunteers, and then we had people who had never volunteered before, but everybody brought something different to the board. It was sort of a sharing of experiences and opinions and visions and thoughts, and that really helped further the organization, helped it reach new heights. For me, serving on this board was sort of a win-win situation. I got to share the talents that I had with the community, and at the same time develop new skills, particularly leadership skills. So it was just a beneficial experience all the way around.
Selecting this equipment and designing this room, getting the lights. Come on in, Dan. Dan Soley and Jim Karofsky, who have been around at least 15 years. You are veterans, right, Dan?
From my original card was number 74.
Yeah. 74.
From the old days.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that'd be about 1,074 by now,
Right. There's a lot of people who have gone through since then.
Yeah. What was the biggest task facing you here in redesigning this field house?
Making it fit.
Making
it fit. There's more need here than there is really facility. The facility is working out wonderful, but it's crowded, and that was a chore, I think. And another problem we had, or not a problem, but another effort we had was actually selecting the kind of equipment, making some decisions, basic decisions, which way to go, and took a lot of talking, a lot of negotiating.
Right. But I need to say a couple of things, because really this is how I got involved. I wanted to be the next Spielberg. I don't think I quite got that far, but I made a lot of programs that I am very proud of. And I know Dan has been in the same boat. We've done some things that are really very, very nice.
It is a community center already, a true community center. We have an alternative high school here, an alternative middle school here. We have retiree groups meeting here. This afternoon, before we could set up, there was a group of retired gentlemen that play cards and listen to accordion music. So it's truly a community center, and you get that feeling here, and it's easier to get involved that way.
You want to do TV shows, come on down here. This is equipment like you could never rent, you could never get anywhere. You can make TV shows of any kind that you want to do. So come on down and see it tonight, and then talk to Mary about how you can get into classes and do all this stuff.
I started with the community access back in about 1984, and I started out more or less in the radio room. We don't have that right now, but from there I went on to meet a large group of people doing different shows. I've crewed for many, many years, and through that I've met many people in the community, different groups. So I think it's not only our voice, but also it gets people together in the community.
I think that the West Allis Community Access Channel is very important to the community because it makes people aware of what's in the city, what's available to them, gives people an access to use their creativity and do their own shows, air their own shows, promote their own shows.
Community access television has given me the opportunity to explore a new hobby. It's also given me a great opportunity to work with the youth in our community. I've had the pleasure of working not only with my son but with my daughter on a show. It's a great family concept that we bring. We sit down as a family and we develop the show, we talk about the show. It's a great way to spend time as a family. I really enjoy, again, working with the youth in our community. This is a hobby that my son and I share together, and we have a lot of fun.
I really think that the West Allis Community Media Center is such a fabulous resource for all of the West Allis community. They're able to find out about all different kinds of organizations within their own community that can actually benefit them. It's such a fabulous outlet to not only inform the community but also to give them the opportunities that they might want to use for their family, for their neighbors, for their community.
I think what's fun about community television is you get to team up with people in your community, fellow citizens, to cover a community event. And there's just a lot of teamwork and a lot of togetherness, and it's a good way to get to know people and to share your talents. And it's just a fun experience for people to cover events for other people to see and to enjoy. So I really never thought about the freedom of speech end of it. I've always been so drawn to it because it's just so much fun for citizens to do together.
Being an educator in West Allis, West Milwaukee school system, the West Allis Access Channel has been one fantastic teaching tool. I use it with a number of students ranging anywhere from 4th grade up until 8th grade. And I found it to be one fantastic place for students to create, produce, and develop new and different types of shows. A number of these kids have come to me and said, I really enjoy this and I really think I want to do this for the rest of my life. And without the Community Access Channel, none of these kids would have ever had the opportunity to even try this. So I find that the West Allis Access Channel is just one phenomenal place, not only for learning, but creating and developing as well. So I thank them very much for giving the kids the opportunity and myself the opportunity to learn how to do all of these creative and wonderful things.
Now, first of all, I think it gives people a voice. If you watch the channel, there's a lot of political stuff on the channel, and you know, those people wouldn't have a voice without having a channel like this. Mary Shanahan-Spanik, who runs the center, I think she's a real unbiased person and allows people to have that voice that you wouldn't find elsewhere.
I've been with Local Access now for about 13 years, and I owe a lot to Local Access. Through them, I have been able to start my national organization, Viewers Voice. And I personally think that local access in your local community is very important. It's one way for you to be able to get out and speak what you have to say, and to go and maybe do programming for your kids and for sports. I know I did a lot of that stuff. I did a lot of children's programs and that in the beginning, a lot of sports shows and stuff. This is one way you can speak up for your community and let people know how you feel.
In my opinion, public access is important to West Allis because of the different group of people that has been brought together to put out their word, to put out their message. The city of West Allis is a very diverse community, and we have a lot of people that are making programs that come up with unique ideas, bring up controversial subjects, aren't afraid to get their idea put out in front of people. I think that's one of the best things that have happened to the city of West Allis in many years.
Okay, with being able to do shows on the West Allis Community Access Channel, you are producing, airing, filming your own shows, your own voices, whether it's for the community, against the community, or other First Amendment issues. You are pretty much protected that you can, say what you want to say, and you're not being censored We have a great lot of talk shows here that people may or may not agree with government or what's going on in West Allis, and they voice their opinions, or in the country, for that matter.
Well, I think the Community Media Center in West Allis is kind of like the eyes and ears of the community. I mean, there are so many different activities and programs that are going on that they do the filming of, and of course all in the studio as well as out in the field. So you're not only getting a set production thing, you're getting the actual what's happening in the community type activity or whatever is going on in the community here. And I think it's very important because it brings everything right out to the people. And if you watch it, there's a lot of valuable information that is given on public access here. And everybody should do their part and become a part of this here because it is the community project. So yeah, let's get involved and we'll take it from there.
Well, I think the live TV auction is very beneficial, not only because we're raising funds for equipment, which will help the future of the organization, but it's also a good opportunity for us to reach out to the community and say, here we are, this is what we do, this is a very beneficial resource, this is something that you can take part in and actually take ownership of. And it also tells elected officials that we're just not ready for a handout. You know, we are taking initiative, we are raising money. So it's also, there's two sides to the live TV auction. It's good because we're raising the money, and it's also a great outreach tool because it tells people that this is a resource that might not be here unless we have your support.
When you see the amount of material is donated to the TV auction and the kind of support, I recommend to you that when the time comes for our TV auction, that you take a little look at it and come and visit our facility and just see the number of people who are involved and the enthusiasm that is generated. This is one of the finest things that has happened to West Allis, and I applaud everybody who was involved.
Well, after having done 3 live TV auctions, I feel that the fundraising efforts at first in the early years were, you know, something at State Fair, a Harvest Fest. We try and get out and make different contacts with people, trying to promote the West Allis Community Media Center, Channel 14. That fundraiser, the Channel 14 auction, has been very successful in bringing together the community, many different public service groups, the high schools, the grade schools. Everybody works together. The business community has been fantastic in supporting Channel 14. We started out with a small effort at the first year, and it's grown and grown each year. It's become a 2-day event. We've made great money only with the help of the business community and these public service groups. This last year we were a little short of people, and we were able to get grade school kids to help out, which is fantastic. And we have adults, we have senior citizens, we have teenagers, we have children helping with our Channel 14 auction. It brings the community together, and I think that's important today. It's something that we need in this community, a common goal. We get all these people together. They've recognized that the West Allis Community Center is a media source, important media source in the city, and they've come together to help, to raise money for that effort.
Channel 14, that's what it's all about. We're waiting to take your bids on a variety of wonderful items. Call 327-1203.
Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support of West Allis Community Television.
This day was going to be as great as it turned out.
No, this is fantastic. I never would have guessed when we started off this morning it was going to be this successful.
And bidding,
bid,
and buy,
buy,
and bidding,
bid,
and buy,
buy,
and bidding,
bid,
and buy.
buy. And Dick now is going to tell you how much we raised. Through the generosity of all the home shoppers, we've raised over $7,000. Thank you, West Allis. Yes.
will see you next year. Thank you for everything.
Thank you. Thank you, West Allis. Thank you.
I got my mind set on you. I got my mind set on you. I got my mind set on you. Got my mind set on you. But it's gonna take a
Welcome to Channel 14 Live TV Auction. We're here at the Franklin Fieldhouse today, and this is our second attempt by the West Allis Community Media Center at fundraising.
We have volunteers from so many organizations in West Allis. We are so thankful.
Channel 14's TV auction brings in all the money to buy all the equipment they need and to get things popping and bring you the programming you need to see.
We need to get you to call 327-1203.
Remember, bid high, bid often, and enjoy yourself.
Our goal was $10,000, and I was just notified that we have right now an approximate total of $11,802. Hey, that's right. Thank you, West Allis. Thank you very much. Thanks, West Allis. I'd like to thank all the sponsors that have provided money for this event. All the people have made donations. All the volunteer help. We couldn't do it without you. The staff of the West Allis Community Media Center, the people on the board. Thanks.
Everybody.
The income for this event this year looks like $13,500.
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
Fantastic.
Thank you, everybody.
That's going to go a long way to helping to update our technology, our playback system to the digital format. All right, I guess people in West Allis, that's a wrap for this year. We'll see you next year with the Channel 14 auction.
I got my mind set on you. I got my mind set on you.
With the staff that we now have on hand, the quality of the programming has vastly improved. The amount of time available to work on public access has also improved. And I see the kind of equipment that I'm now looking at this time is just many generations superior to what we started out with. And so that's kind of how I feel that many people have worked hard to bring this programming about, and the general support of the community is also very evident.
Well, when we went from the large videotape to now the digital, it is so easy. You can carry your film in your pocket. You can carry your show in your pocket. It's just incredible, the miniaturization that has been done, and the amount of clarity of picture that you can produce just with the limited amount of equipment that you need these days, as opposed to a van 10 years ago. You can carry it in the trunk of your car. Right now you can have a studio in the trunk of your car. And we have kept up with the times in West Allis. We've gotten the best equipment available.
We offer a sequence of classes that can set you on the road to success. The Producers class gives you the basics and techniques of what it takes to be in the driver's seat of your own television production. In the Portable Field Production Workshop, you'll do hands-on learning with digital video camcorders, tripods, lights, and microphones. In our tape and computer-based editing workshops, you'll learn how to turn your footage into a masterpiece. WACMC's Studio Workshop gives you the opportunity to learn studio crew positions, including how to direct, run the audio board, design graphics, and operate studio cameras. A remote studio workshop gives you the power to take a multi-camera studio to where the action is, whether it be a local parade, concert, community meeting, or high school sporting event.
Cable access, I found on accident, actually came to the facility several years back, and actually came down with my kids, and my kids had seen the facility, and I was in college at the time, and they seen me with a movie camera and thought that I could help them make a show, and actually found out that I had to get trained, got trained, somebody asked me to